Things come onto your screen, images flashing as a song plays. That song is Fozzie's Spotlight. I am the light of the truth. The one who sees right through. I know your every move. I've got my eye on you. Like a Marvel movie, various scenes from Season 2 of the CWF flash suddenly across the screen until it comes up with the CWF Vanguard logo. Live from the Anaheim Convention Center. Anaheim, California. Spotlight. It then starts off with shots from the CWF Valor title scramble from Urban Warfare, with various shots of action from the match that was held on the last episode of Vanguard as the Urban Warfare pre-show. I know you've got a secret. It's buried down below. Deep within the basement. Let it go, let it go. It cuts to a shot of Eddie Williams being caught cheating in the Valor title scramble, and then Ira Waters being announced as the winner. I know you've got your issues. A homicidal mind. Silence cannot save you. I'm bringing you to light. A shot of Larry Lansdowne as he hits his freezer frame cutter and picks up a rare win against Demonic. 'Cause every lie you tell, I know. Everywhere you go, I go. It's written on your face. Every thought you have betrays you. Now. The Carnival picking up the win and then kissing the middle of the ring to become the #1 contenders for the CWF Tag Team titles, and winning the shot at S3E1 of Warzone. I am the light of the truth. The one who sees right through. I know your every move. I got my eye on you. Team Reinhardt Wrestling Pacific Rim for the CWF Tag Team titles, highlighting Kelia Flynot's attempts to not wrestle Kara Reinhardt. It ends with Kara Reinhardt dropping Kelia with a Dresden driver right onto her own brother's chest to then score a pinfall victory and claim the tag team straps for her and her brother. Go on and bury it down. I'll follow you till it's out. I got my eye on you. I got my eye on you. Armand von Kraus making a rare wrestling appearance, and hitting the heart punch on Charlie Fiegel that leads to his victory in the cage in the no escape match from Urban Warfare. You're the wicked, I'm a sharp knife. Shining on you like a spotlight. I'm a witness, I'm a dark night. You're a sickness, I'm your spotlight. Scenes from the first fall of the 3 Stages of Hell match with Ravenna Jaeger trying to claim the elite title from Valora Salinas. The first fall ending with Valora openly getting disqualified during the Pure Wrestling Rules match, by not breaking a hold in the ropes, and giving that fall away. Slip into the censor. Safe in your disguise. From memories dismembered. Away from prying eyes. Valora Salinas picking up the second fall in the Street Fight Rules portion of the match, with an Aztec moonsault through a table onto Jaeger. I'll be with you forever. The sweat pooled on your brow. The guilt that slowly festers. Eating inside out. In the third fall of the 3 Stages of Hell match. Jaeger quitting while locked in the Aztec clutch. It then cuts to the aftermath, where Ravenna Jaeger has to bare her breasts, but the shot is censored as this is not a pay-per-view showing, but an opening credits recap of Vanguard. 'Cause every lie you tell, I know. Everywhere you go, I go. It's written on your face. Every thought you have betrays you. Now. Shots of the 5 entrances into the Star Chamber matchup, El Gringo Diablo, Greg Salazar, and Cronin Reinhardt. I am the light of the truth. The one who sees right through. I know your every move. I got my eye on you. More Star Chamber entrances with the last 2, Frank Windsor, followed by Rob Riot as the Janus Man. Go on and bury it down. I follow you till it's out. I got my eye on you. I got my eye on you. Greg Salazar tapping out El Gringo Diablo in the gunmetal lock. You're the wicked, I'm a sharp knife. Shining on you like a spotlight. I'm a witness, I'm a dark night. You're a sickness, I'm your spotlight. Salazar and Reinhardt standing in the ring, not fighting until the timer drops from 3 minutes to 30 seconds, and then it cuts to Frank Windsor's pod opening. It's then followed by some shots of Windsor fighting off both Reinhardt and Salazar. I know your every move. I got my eye on you. I know your every move. I got my eye on you. I know your every move. I got my eye on you. J-Man's pod opening and him joining in the fight to make it a four-way fight during the Star Chamber match. It especially highlights the bastards executing a double eat defeat on Krohn and Reinhardt. I am the light of the truth. The one who sees right through. I know your every move. I got my eye on you. Krohn and Reinhardt hitting a Chaos Theory-style rolling set of German suplexes, spiked at the end by the sniper shot backstabber from Greg Salazar, leading to a Frank Windsor elimination. Go on and bury it down. I'll follow you till it's out. I got my eye on you. I got my eye on you. Back and forth action with uppercuts, palm strikes, cutting kicks, and ending in a metal meltdown powerbomb, also spiked with a sniper shot. Followed by Reinhardt getting the pinfall on Riot. You're the wicked, I'm a sharp knife. Shining on you like a spotlight. I'm a witness, I'm a dark knight. You're a sickness, I'm your spotlight. The rolling death by suplex on Greg Salazar by Krohn and Reinhardt ending with him standing tall having secured the CWF Conquest Championship. I got my eye on you. I got my eye on you. A fading shot of the celebration in the ring with both Reinhardts holding up all their titles. The show comes on with a shot from the front lobby of the Anaheim Convention Center. We have Blaze McClancy and Jane Coughlin standing there on either side of a slot machine. The CWF and Vanguard logos are up on banners behind them, as well as the logo for X0 Wrestling, up high between them. Jane Coughlin, good evening, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 1 of CWF's Vanguard. I'm the General Manager of Vanguard for the CWF, Jane Coughlin. I'm joined tonight by the CWF Commissioner and the person in charge of Icon Wrestling's Trios Division, Blaze McClancy. Blaze McClancy, thank you Jane, always awesome to be working with our Vanguard crew, and we have a hell of a show for you tonight. To open the third season and the start of our United States tour, we're here in Anaheim, California and hosting the X0 Wrestling Trios title tournament. Jane Coughlin, yes we are. Tonight we have the quarter and semifinals for you. We have 7 teams who will be sending a representative in here to get one pull on this slot machine. Based on how much they win on the pull, we'll be setting up the brackets. Blaze McClancy, and one team, the one with the best spin, will earn a first round bye and be going on to face the winner of the first match tonight, in the semifinals. Jane Coughlin, so let's get started with the teams, and introduce them as they come out. Blaze McClancy, well let's bring out the first team's representative, making their CWF debut on this show, Team Viper Squad. Jane Coughlin, and it looks like Mad Morales is representing them in this draw to see where they're placing in the tourney. Mad Morales steps into the room, taking a walk in from one side. He walks up, and Blaze McClancy extends his hands to shake it. Blaze McClancy, just need you to pull the arm on the slot machine, what you spin based on how much you win will place you into your bracket. Of course the team that wins, gets the first round bye, and can rest up during the quarterfinals. Blaze McClancy, and that's Team Viper winning 6 credits. We'll see how you do. Mad Morales heads off stage, letting the next team's representative come out. Jane Coughlin, and now, representing the House of the Rising Sun, we have Kaito Ishikawa. The Japanese wrestler walks up and greets Blaze McClancy, who greets him back in Japanese. Blaze says something else to him, and Ishikawa pulls the lever, getting a 15-credit win. Jane Coughlin, that was a good spin, it could win the first round bye. Blaze McClancy, that it was. Pretty much they just rocketed to the lead on the placement. Who is next up? Jane Coughlin, representing the Carnival, Gabriel Tuck. Gabriel comes out and just yanks the arm on the slot machine down and lets it spin. He watches as it comes up with 6 credits. Blaze McClancy, well, not going to beat House of the Rising Sun, but not bad. Jane Coughlin, and coming up next, representing the upstarts. Abigail Dresden. Abby comes out, wearing her AWS Legacy Championship belt and wearing her usual AWS gear. She pulls the arm on the slot machine and gets a win of 6 credits. Blaze McClancy, well, looking like we know maybe one bracket now? Abby walks off the way she's supposed to, letting the next person come up. Jane Coughlin, and next representing World Elite, Lindsay Flair. Lindsay comes out and pulls the slot machine arm, and gets 0 credits. Blasey McClancy, not a great pull. Sorry. Lindsay walks off as Jane announces the next person. Jane Coughlin, and now, the representative from Bad Company. Blaze McClancy, I guess we can finally see someone who is in bad company. The person who comes out for them is not a wrestler. It's the talent relations director for the CWF, Colleen Fortune Salazar. Blaze McClancy, Callie? Other than a public congratulations on your recent wedding. But why are you out here? Callie Fortune Salazar, I was asked to represent Bad Company in the poll. They'll make their debut in their first match. Blaze nods and motions to the slot machine. She pulls and gets a 15 credit win. Blaze McClancy, 15 credits, we have a tie for the first round bye. Might have to flip a coin on it. But we have one more pull. Callie walks off as Jane calls out the last team to pull. Jane Coughlin, and representing the Bastards. Eddie Williams. Eddie Williams comes out, wearing a suit and the AWS TV Championship belt. He strolls up like he owns the room and yanks down on the slot machine's lever. He gets 18 credits. Needless to say, he does a small celebration at pulling the best result out of the 7 pulls. Blaze McClancy, well, awesome spin. Looks like the Bastards get the first round bye. I'll ask the production people to put me up a bracket graphic based on the results of the slot machine polls. Jane Coughlin, let's get a small ad in here, and then we'll get to our first match in the quarterfinals, World Elite and the Carnival. Asylum Wrestling Society presents. Anarchy. April 20th, 2024. Jessica Carr, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CWF Presents Vanguard. We're live from the Anaheim Convention Center tonight, as we present a special episode to start off Season 3 of the CWF's tour. Victoria Hill, this season we're conquering the western United States and Canada, starting here in Anaheim, California. And in a couple of days, Warzone will come to you from the Crypto.com arena in Los Angeles. Jessica Carr, but tonight, we bring you the first 2 rounds in the X0N Wrestling Trios title tournament. So far we know that the CWF's own Bastards have a first round bye. We will then have 3 first round, or quarter-final matches. Victoria Hill, the upstarts, representing AWS will be facing off against the CWF's newest stable, Team Viper. Jessica Carr, and Bad Company, a mystery team who we know are signed to the CWF, will be taking on the House of the Rising Sun. Victoria Hill, still trying to figure out just who Bad Company are. They asked our director of talent relations to pull the slot machine for them, instead of sending out one of their members out. Jessica Carr, but that brings us to our first quarter-final matchup. As the World Elite will face off against the Carnival. Victoria Hill, this matchup will determine who will face the Bastards in their semi-final matchup a little later on tonight. Jessica Carr, so let's get to the ring. Marcela Sancho, the following contest is scheduled for 1 fall and is a round 1 match in the Icon Trios tournament, announcing first the challengers, the Marquita Harlequin, Katya Carnivalka, and Gabriel Tuck. Together, they are the Carnival. As the eerie melody of Carnival of the Damned begins, a mist of deep blue and crimson creeps across the stage. The arena lights flicker as if reacting to the haunting carnival tune, casting shadowy silhouettes. Marquita Harlequin and Katya Carnivalka emerge from the fog, their figures entwined in a macabre dance as they embrace and share a long passionate kiss on stage. Gabriel Tuck walks out from the back, forcing his way through the couple, breaking them apart. He heads toward the ring while shaking his head. The Marquis and Katya look at each other and shrug, following the thug down to the ring. Jessica Carr, looks like Gabriel Tuck is going to start the match out. Victoria Hill, he doesn't look very happy with the other 2 in the ring there. Jessica Carr, I heard it's something of a class conflict within the Carnival. Victoria Hill, well, they better get their heads on straight if they're going to get by the World Elite. Marcella Sancho, and their opponents, comprising of Kofi Von Erich, AJ Flair, and Lindsay Flair. They are the World Elite. Legs by ZZ Top plays as the World Elite are being introduced, but no one comes out from the back. Gabriel Tuck walks to the side of the ring that faces the back and shouts, motioning for them to come out. Jessica Carr, I wonder what's going on. Victoria Hill, I smell something rotten. Gabriel slides out of the ring and slides in a steel chair, following. Gabriel unfolds the chair and sits down in it, reaching into a back pocket and pulling out a pack of cigarettes, lighting one. He smokes on the cigarette while Legs by ZZ Top begins playing again to no one coming out from the back. Gabriel Tuck, Leroy, you may as well start counting them out cause they ain't gonna be making it down to the ring to even try to compete with us. Jessica Carr, what does Gabriel know that we don't? Victoria Hill, I'm telling you that I smell something rotten and I think I know what. Can we get a camera backstage to see what's up? Legs by ZZ Top starts playing a third time to see if the World Elite will come down to the ring. When they do not show, Leroy Wallace begins to count them out. The Jumbotron lights up to reveal the cameraman heading to the back to see what's going on with the team. What he finds is Kofi Von Erich, AJ Flair, and Lindsay Flair lying on the floor and bloody. Once Leroy Wallace is finished counting to 10, he raises Gabriel's arm that isn't holding the cigarette. Gabriel Tuck, the bastards got themselves a bye. I figure we deserved one too. Jessica Carr, so they had the World Elite ambushed before they even made it down to the ring to get them out of the match? How horrible. Victoria Hill, what do you expect out of a thug like Gabriel? Jessica Carr, I guess it is something that he would pull to get ahead. He won't be able to do that with the bastards. Victoria Hill, I think he probably knows that. Jessica Carr, it won't be so easy for them later on when they face off against the bastards. Jessica Carr, while we get ready, just want to remind people that this coming Monday, April 15th in the Crypto.com arena, we'll have the first Warzone of Season 3. Victoria Hill, we've got debuts, but two big matches I'm looking forward for that night. Lady Lana gets a chance to reel in the Valor Championship from the newly crowned Ira Waters. Jessica Carr, and I know you're really looking forward to Steve Murdoch vying for the Elite Championship held by Valora Salinas, who appeared unstoppable at the Elite Champion at this time. Victoria Hill, and looks like we're ready for the next match. And I'm being told we're about to get a huge surprise for tonight. Marcella Sancho, we're now reading for our second quarter final match. Introducing first, all of them hailing from the great country of Japan. Coming in at a combined weight of 785 lbs. The Silent Assassin, Kurohano, and Kaito Ishikawa. The House of the Rising Sun. Kurenai by X Japan starts to play as the three Japanese wrestlers walk out to the ring. Kurohano towers over his teammates, being in the 6 feet 10 inches frame, while they're both around 6 and 6 feet 3 inches. Jessica Carr, of course Kurohano has recently appeared on CWF TV during the Valor title scramble on the last edition of Vanguard. Tonight he's joined by his stablemates in House of the Rising Sun, and they want the X0N Trio's gold. Victoria Hill, and they're taking on a team we still don't know who they are. They had asked our talent relations rep to pull for them in the slot machine poll earlier. So let's see just who is bad company. Marcella Sancho, and their opponents. A ringside helper runs down and hands Marcella a piece of paper. She reads it, smiles and looks to the entrance area before she starts her announcement. Jessica Carr, I think she just found out who this is. Marcella Sancho, and their opponents, coming in at a combined 715 lbs. Hailing from Seattle, Washington and Dresden, Germany. Victoria Hill, wait, what? Marcella Sancho, combined between them they currently hold the CWF Tag Team Championships, and the CWF Conquest Championship. Jessica Carr, is this where we can say holy sure? Victoria Hill, well, that's what I'm thinking. Bad Company by Five Finger Death Punch starts to play throughout the arena's PA system. Marcella Sancho, they are the Paragon Gregory Michael Salazar, Kara Reinhardt and the German suplex machine Cronin Reinhardt. The three step out onto the stage together. Kara and Cronin wearing the CWF Tag Team titles around their waist. Conan also has the CWF Conquest title over his right shoulder. Greg Salazar takes a position to the right of the twins, putting the giant between him and Kara, who are both nearer to the same height. Victoria Hill, well, I guess the rumors of the future Shock Society being done for are true, and the way Cronin and GMS worked together at Urban Warfare to get the Conquest title away from the bastards shows we have a new stable. Jessica Carr, where does this leave Ravina Yeager? Victoria Hill, well, we have rumors on that as well. We'll let the newsies take care of those. We're here to watch wrestling. And House of the Rising Sun has a huge roadblock in their way, in the CWF Tag Team and Conquest Champions. Jessica Carr, and a former Conquest and LWA Legendary Champion as well. Well, technically current LWA Legendary Champion. In the ring, it looks like Kara Reinhardt and the Silent Assassin are starting off. Ding! Ding! The Assassin and Kara Reinhardt rush in together and lock up. Assassin pushes her back, executes a spinning back kick to her midsection and then drops back to the ropes to come off and try for an axe kick to the back of her head, but Kara drops down and leg sweeps him mid-kick, dropping him down to the mat hard. Jessica Carr, Kara Reinhardt had the Silent Assassin scouted there. She gets into a stance, giving a quick look over her shoulder to the other side's corner. As the Silent Assassin comes up, he swings at her, which she blocks and then executes a series of quick strokes to his chest. She then moves in and hooks him up for a side slam suplex, lifts him up and plants him to the mat. She tries to move in for a pinfall. 1. Kuro Hano runs in and delivered a huge kick to Kara's ribs, rolling her over towards her corner. He then picks up Silent Assassin and tosses him towards his own corner. This allows Kaito Ishikawa to catch a tag as the Silent Assassin falls to the mat in the corner. Hano heads back to his corner. Victoria Hill and Kuro Hano with the save from his side, and they've switched out to the international ace Kaito Ishikawa. As Ishikawa comes in towards Kara Reinhardt, she rolls for her corner, reaching up and catching a tag from Greg Salazar. Jessica Carr, in Bad Company switches out to GMS, the man formerly known as Tetsuo Oni 3. Victoria Hill, well, Assassin and Kara Reinhardt are about the same size, and Salazar and Ishikawa are about the same size. They've come out with a plan. Ishikawa moves in and grabs Salazar to whip him to the ropes. He catches Salazar as he comes off with a hip toss, but the former Marine lands on his feet and pulls Ishikawa into a knee to the midsection. He then grabs his arm and ripcords him into a spinning back fist. Jessica Carr, Iron Fist. Ishikawa stumbles back with the impact, not falling to the mat. Salazar runs towards the nearest ropes, springboards off the second rope to hit a caber side kick that takes him down. Salazar looks to be going for a pinfall attempt, but as soon as he sees Kuno Hano start to climb into the ring, he stops and shakes his head. Victoria Hill, Greg Salazar not wanting to get one of those tree trunk-like kicks from the much bigger man of Kuro Hano. Jessica Carr, would you? Salazar points to his corner where Cronin Reinhardt is extending his hand out. Hano nods his head a bit. Salazar reaches down and pulls Ishikawa up and looks like he's about to throw him towards his corner, but he spins the man around and snaps him into a half Nelson suplex that he uses instead to send him to his corner. Jessica Carr, in a ring toss to send a message. Kuro Hano reaches down and tags himself in. As he's climbing into the ring, Greg Salazar gets up and walks over to this corner and high-fives Cronin Reinhardt to tag him in. Victoria Hill and the two giants go to meet in the middle of the ring. Reinhardt steps up to Hano and the two meet in the middle of the ring. Hano lifts his hand up asking for a test of strength. Jessica Carr, Kuro Hano is bigger than the CWF Conquest champion by 2 inches in height and almost 45 pounds in pure mass. Victoria Hill is pure fugly. Reinhardt reaches up and clasps Hano's hand, and then grasps the other when it's offered. The two start to have an old-school classic test of strength in the ring. They both end up pushing chest to chest as they try to get the upper hand. Eventually Hano decides to break it with a huge headbutt that catches Cronin more to the collarbone than the face as Cronin moves his head to dodge it. Hano then whips Reinhardt into a neutral corner. Cronin is back first. Hano comes running in behind him, and hits a jumping splash into the corner. He pulls Cronin out after hitting the splash, and then goes to scoop him up for a power slam, but Cronin pushes off his back, hooks him around the waist and lifts. He fails to get the German suplex due to the mass of his opponent, so he resets and then takes the big man over with a belly-to-back suplex. Jessica Carr, and that's a show of strength from the Conquest champion. Victoria Hill, certainly impressive. Cronin pulls Hano to his feet. He whips him to the ropes, and catches him as he comes off with a discus punch that causes him to fall back into the ropes to the side. Cronin then moves in and hits a discus clothesline that sends him tumbling over the top rope. Jessica Carr, in another show of power by Cronin Reinhardt. Silent Assassin climbs into the ring, and comes off the ropes to then hit Cronin from behind with a leaping clothesline. But he fails to take the big guy over the ropes. Cronin nails him with a reverse elbow as he then turns. Victoria Hill, and Silent Assassin tries to do some damage. Cronin tries to grab Silent Assassin, but Hano grabs his feet out from under him outside the ring. As soon as it looks like a 2-on-1, Kara Reinhardt and Greg Salazar head out from their corner. Carr comes around the shorter way, and dives onto Hano's back, and tries to lock in a sleeper hold. Salazar had climbed through the ropes and he headed right for the other corner. As Ishikawa is hopping down from the apron to the floor to go help Kuro Hano, Salazar drops down and executes a baseball slide drop kick that catches Ishikawa in the face. Salazar rolls to his knees, and then comes up to jump onto Silent Assassin and grab him to toss him through the ropes, to where Ishikawa was now laying outside. Jessica Carr, they did have a plan. Victoria Hill, military precision strike. And Kara Reinhardt is trying to take down the huge giant of a man as well. Outside the ring, Kara Reinhardt keeps the sleeper hold locked onto the huge man. Eventually he drops down to one knee. This allows him to shift his weight and toss Kara off his back to the floor. Jessica Carr, he broke the hold. Victoria Hill, he's the legal man in the ring right now as well. Hano looks up and sees the referee is about to start counting now that things have calmed down. He gets to his feet and uses the ring steps to climb up, shaking the sleeper hold off as he climbs up. Salazar first checks on Cronin, before slipping under the ropes and helping Kara to her feet as well. Cronin Reinhardt meets Kuro Hano as he climbs into the ring. He whips him hard into his own corner, just as Kara and Salazar are climbing back up to it. Cronin follows in with a huge running spear. Cronin holds onto the ropes, pinning the man into the corner. Jessica Carr, and looks like some more teamwork by Bad Company coming up. Kara Reinhardt grabs one of Hano's arms and pulls back, and Greg Salazar repeats that on the other side. This leaves Kuro Hano completely open for the follow-up attack of 3 shoulder lifts, followed by Cronin standing up and then laying a series of chops to Hano's chest. Victoria Hill, Cronin is turning Kuro Hano's chest beet red. Hano soon appears to have had enough. He powers out of Kara's hold first, then pulls away from Salazar. He reaches up and pushes back on Reinhardt before he can get another shot in. The big man then rushes as much as he can across the ring and tags in the Silent Assassin. Jessica Carr, and Silent Assassin is back into the game. Cronin Reinhardt turns as he's warned from his sister and catches Silent Assassin with a belly-to-belly suplex as he's coming in. Cronin then tags in Kara Reinhardt. He holds on to Silent Assassin as Kara climbs into the ring. She steps in and lifts up her opponent and drops him into a Dresden driver right there in their corner and goes for a pinfall. 1, 2. Ishikawa dives into the ring and breaks up the pin. Victoria Hill, Bad Company have been cutting the ring in half like they've been working together for years here. Jessica Carr, Kaito Ishikawa just broke up that pin, but he's in the wrong spot right now. Cronin grabs Ishikawa and tosses him hard into their own corner. Before Ishikawa can lunge out, Salazar grabs him into a full Nelson from behind and then starts to slam the back of his head with a series of headbutts. Victoria Hill, Greg Salazar starts the concussion protocol on Kaito Ishikawa. Salazar then tries to life Ishikawa up, and gets an assist from Cronin Reinhardt from outside the ropes, who grabs the man's feet and pulls them up over the turnbuckle. Salazar then drops down off the apron, dropping Ishikawa into a Memento Mori facebuster on the ring apron. Jessica Carr, oh my, Greg Salazar just dropped Kaito Ishikawa face first on the hardest part of the ring. Salazar pulls Kaito Ishikawa off the apron and lets him fall to the ground outside the ring before he pulls himself back up to the apron. Kara Reinhardt quickly tags her brother back in, and motions for him to lift the silent assassin up. Kuro Hano slips down and heads over to check on his partner, who appears to be out of it, outside the ring. Victoria Hill, I think Salazar just broke Kaito Ishikawa. Jessica Carr, he does appear to be out cold, but he's not the legal man. Before she slips outside the ropes, she kicks backwards, hitting Silent Assassin in the midsection. Victoria Hill, what's going on here? Cronin pulls Silent Assassin into a powerbomb setup. Kara signals to Salazar, who climbs in and runs to the other side. Kara climbs up to the top turnbuckle. As Salazar comes off the ropes, he catches Silent Assassin mid-powerbomb for a sniper shot lungbuster. Silent Assassin looks like he's been broken in half with the move. Jessica Carr, that's the move that took Rob Riot out of the Star Chamber match. Salazar rolls out of the ring towards where Kuro Hano is with Kaito Ishikawa. Kara Reinhardt slaps her brother's shoulder, tagging in, before he then reaches up and lifts her up off the turnbuckle, popping her up into a military press and drops her across Silent Assassin to finish a three-man version of the Reinhardt Slam. She hooks the leg, as Cronin gets ready if he need to head out to help Greg Salazar. 1, 2, 3. Marcela Sancho, your winners, advancing on into the semi-finals of the Trios title tournament, the team known as Bad Company. Jessica Carr and Bad Company secures their spot in the semi-finals. We cut to the back where we find one member of Upstarts, the current bearer of the mantle of Tetsuo Oni, the fourth person to where the mask is stretching and getting ready. Blasey McClancy, the CWF's commissioner and current division head for the Trios titles, walks up. He stops and glares at her. She looks up, a nervous look on her face. Tetsuo Oni 4, can I help you, Mr. McClancy? Blasey frowns. Blaze McClancy, you shouldn't be here. Tetsuo Oni 4, I am a contracted AWS and Core talent and came in with my team. Blaze McClancy, I know. And you know what I mean. Tetsuo Oni 4, oh, well. I've also secured the sanction of the director of the order to continue. I am the current Tetsuo Oni. Blaze McClancy, and you're lucky in that. Otherwise I'd have to do something about this. Right here, right now. After he says that, Miguel Lanza and Abigail Dresden both walk into the scene. Dresden looks between the two, and elbows Miguel, who then interposes a bit between them. Miguel Lanza, Jr., sorry, Mr. McClancy, but you heard her, Director Childress has given his permission. And it's not like she's been dishonoring the mantle. Blaze McClancy, no, she hasn't. But, just know this. I'm watching. And if you think I don't know some things, I'm not stupid. But this also doesn't make me happy. At that, a stagehand comes up. Stagehand, Upstarts, you're up. Blasey McClancy doesn't say anything else, and just walks out of the shot. Abigail Dresden, you think he knows? Tetsuo Oni 4, if not, then he's really close to figuring it out. The camera cuts back to the ringside area. Jessica Carr, what was that about? Victoria Hill, come on, some of us pay attention. That's Tetsuo Oni 4. But she's not exactly liked by Blaze McClancy, the second Tetsuo Oni. Word has it she stole his old gear from a museum display at the wrestling school and mad her gear. But she's good enough that Blaze's boss granted her a reprieve and named her the official fourth Tetsuo Oni. Jessica Carr, oh, well, how will he take it if they win the Trios titles? Victoria Hill, first they have to get by Team Viper. Jessica Carr, well, let's get to the ring to see if they can do that, or if Team Viper is going to stop the Upstarts on their path tonight. Marcela Sancho, ladies and gentlemen, The next match is a round 1 matchup in the Trios title tournament. The winners of this match will advance to the next round and have a chance to become the first ever Trios title champions. Introducing first, with team members hailing from New York, Norfolk, Virginia, and Detroit, Michigan, at a combined weight of 757 pounds, they are the Future Kyle, the Daredevil Mad Morales, and the Peak of Freak Monster Mammoth. They are Team Viper. Cemetery Drive by Basilisk plays over the PA, and the 3 members of Team Viper come out to a mixed reaction as Mad Morales plays to the crowd and hypes up the Peak of Freak. Jessica Carr, Team Viper are new signings to CWF, joining during the break between Season 2 and Season 3, and now have signed up for the Trios title tournament, meaning our first glimpse of them is going to be seeing them as a united front against some of the best stables CWF, AWS, Icon, and Corey can field. Victoria Hill, yes, now we'll get to see how good of a signing this team was. But why they are calling out Pacific Rim is beyond me. This is a 3-man team tournament and the upstarts have their 3 already. They need to get ready because this is their big chance, and it comes against one of the premier stables I've seen. Marcella Sancho, and introducing their opponents. With members hailing from Swansea, Wales, Roosevelt Roads, Puerto Rico, and Okinawa Prefecture, Japan, at a combined weight of 643 pounds, they are the team of Abigail Dresden, Miguel Lanza, and Tetsu Oni 4, the upstarts. The lights in the arena dim and the reckoning by Within Temptation plays over the PA. Tetsu Oni 4 comes out first and takes a knee, spreading her arms out as Miguel and Abigail walk out behind her and take a pose, leaning against each other, back to back, looking at the ring. They then make their way to the ring, interacting with the fans a bit as they make their way down to the ring. Jessica Carr, and the upstarts. A team that has been making waves since their formation. They claim to be a team of equals, but to me, that almost looked like a leadership pose by Tetsu Oni. And frankly, I wouldn't mind having Abigail Dresden and Miguel Lanza backing me up. Now, you complimented the upstarts, what brings this on? Victoria Hill, well, first of all, while she might be Welsh, Abigail is a fellow Briton. I mean, it's not her fault she had the misfortune to be born in Wales. Abigail is also the AWS Legacy Champion. So the upstarts have proven they can win gold. Tetsu Oni is also still alive in an ongoing tournament to earn gold. Miguel Lanza is powerful, and I wouldn't be surprised to find him contending for gold in the near future. As much as I would hope to find weaknesses, the upstarts seem to be solid and capable of handling a wide range of threats. I still think they would benefit from some veteran guidance, but still. As the 2 teams hit the ring, Peak of Freak and Mad Morales demand Pacific Rim, and, without hesitation, Abigail moves forward, standing toe-to-toe with Mad Morales as he tells the crowd that after their win, Team Viper will give Abigail to Peak of Freak. Abigail smirks and then nails him with a European uppercut and then again with a right cross. Tetsu Oni nails Daredevil with a drop kick and Miguel lays Peak of Freak out with a big clothesline. Team Viper rapidly retreats from the ring and shouts at the ref. Erica Costa Alvarez berates the upstarts for the pre-match assault. Jessica Carr, well, this is going to be a match, folks. Team Viper with some very uncouth commentary about Pacific Rim and their post-match plans for Abigail, and the upstarts made it clear they will brook no disrespect. Victoria Hill, I admit that was interesting to see. But if the Bastards or Team Viper had done that, you'd call it sneaky and underhanded. Marcella Sancho, it was a violation, and referee Erica Costa Alvarez lectured the upstarts for it. Ding! The bell rings after the announcer leaves the ring and both teams move to their corner, with the Peak of Freak and Miguel starting off for their teams respectively. Peak of Freak calls for a test of strength and he and Miguel quickly lock up, struggling with each other in the middle of the ring, neither man gaining much of an advantage. Peak of Freak hits Miguel in the gut with a knee and then repeats the move before clubbing him with his forearm, continuing to hammer Miguel with heavy blows. Miguel takes a few shots and responds by blocking one of the shots and punches Peak of Freak in the gut and then jumps to his feet and punches Peak of Freak before whipping him into the upstarts corner. Both Abigail and Tetsu Oni 4 raise one of their feet and Peak of Freak slams into them. The two hold him in place as Miguel charges forward and hits Peak of Freak with a big body splash. Jessica Carr and the heavy hitters for both teams start off, and Miguel was able to get the advantage there and sent the big member of Team Viper into the upstarts corner, where we saw more interference from the upstarts. Victoria Hill, literally every tag team unit will take advantage of an enemy in their corner. I see nothing wrong there. Peak of Freak escapes from the corner and charges Miguel, hitting him with a clothesline, staggering him, and then brings Miguel to the mat with a belly-to-belly suplex. Bringing Miguel to his feet, he hits Miguel with a chop on the chest, bringing a "who" from the crowd. Miguel answers with a chop of his own, bringing more "who" chants from the crowd as the two men exchange chops, neither man backing down or taking a step back. The exchange ends when Peak of Freak hits a chop, then boots Miguel in the gut and plants him with a DDT. Jessica Carr, Peak of Freak manages to get out of the corner, and both he and Miguel showcase their toughness. Those chops do hurt people, they echo throughout the arena, but that's flesh hitting flesh. Victoria Hill, well, there are styles of chops that would do more damage, but while the noise is mostly to elicit a reaction from the crowd, the red on the men's chests will tell you that there was at least some degree of damage done. But Peak of Freak does showcase some power too. He lifted a man Miguel's size up and put him down with a belly-to-belly suplex with relative ease. Peak of Freak pulls Miguel up to his feet and headbutts the man before trying to hit another belly-to-belly, but Miguel blocks it, headbutts Peak of Freak and whips him into a neutral corner as he shouts to his teammates. Miguel lands a trio's special torpedoes away. Abigail and Tetsu Oni nod and both hop over the ropes. Tetsu Oni takes Abigail's hand and, turning her around in a circle twice, whips her towards Miguel, who grabs Abigail and adds his strength, increasing her speed even more as he half whips, half throws her into Peak of Freak with a flying spear/tackle. The hit brings Peak of Freak down to a sitting position, and Abigail is stunned from the force of the impact as well. Mad Morales pulls Abigail out of the ring and whips her into the barricades, charging in and hitting her with a drop kick. Kyle makes his way over but is caught with a drop kick from Tetsu Oni, knocking him off the ring apron. Jessica Carr, that is taking teamwork to a whole new level, folks. Abigail was just thrown with help from both her teammates, and she hit Peak of Freak so hard, the impact stunned both of them. Victoria Hill, like a car accident. Oh! Mad Morales had pulled Abigail out and thrown her into the barricade and now has bounced her head off our desk twice here, but Abigail fights back and bounces Morales' head off the announce table. Erica Costa Alvarez tries to wrangle the two teams and orders Abigail and Morales to get back to their corners. Abigail does so, with Morales following suit soon after. Miguel Lanza comes over and tags in Abigail. Morales calls for the tag and gets it from Peak of Freak. Jessica Carr tags Maid and Abigail, and Mad Morales will get to legally continue their showdown. Victoria Hill, this should be an intriguing matchup. Mad Morales is 190 pounds, Abigail is about 170 or so, which means most if not all of Abigail's offense should be viable. Abigail tries to throw a punch, but Mad Morales blocks the punch and counters with a hip toss, but Abigail lands on her feet and counters with a hip toss of her own, but Mad Morales counters and tries for spinning neckbreaker, but Abigail escapes and tries for a release German suplex, but Mad Morales jumps into it and lands on his feet, the crowd coming to their feet and applauding as Abigail and Mad Morales stare at each, both fighters trying to plot their next move. Jessica Carr, wow, some skillful move and counter move action there by Mad Morales and Abigail. Victoria Hill, both fighters are obviously skilled at what they do and both will have to try and think of something unpredictable to get an edge. The two fighters lock up and struggle for advantage. Mad Morales counters with a knee to Abigail's gut, alternating knee shots as he hooks Abigail into position for a DDT. Abigail lifts him up to try and suplex him, but he jumps with her and lands on the top rope and leaps off, trying for a tornado DDT, but Abigail counters and powerbombs him with a sit-out powerbomb and immediately makes the cover. 1, 2. Future Kyle runs into the ring and breaks the pin up with a dropkick to Abigail's face, knocking her flat on her back. Tetsu Oni for springboards off the ropes and hits the Future Kyle with a dropkick. Jessica Carr, another great exchange between Mad Morales and Abigail there, but Abigail was able to get the edge with a well-timed counter, but Mad Morales' teammate breaks up the pin. Victoria Hill and Tetsu Oni immediately has her teammates back. We are seeing one common thread between the upstarts and Team Viper. Both are true teams that are on the same page and work well together. Abigail makes her way over to her corner and makes the tag into Tetsu Oni 4 as she returns to her corner. The future Kyle makes his way back in time to get the tag from Mad Morales. The two meet in the middle of the ring and Tetsu Oni 4 fires a kick, targeting the legs of the much bigger future Kyle. She fires off alternating kicks targeting the calves and knee area of her opponent and finishes the series off with a spinning back kick to the gut that doubles her opponent over. Tetsu Oni rushes to the ropes where Miguel Lanza makes a blind tag in and Tetsu Oni tries for a spinning head scissors takeover, but future Kyle catches her and counters with a pop-up, sit-out style spinebuster that hits with such force Tetsu Oni Ivy's back arches and she writhes in pain a bit. Jessica Carr, OH. What impact? We're told that the future Kyle calls that the time machine. Victoria Hill, named that because Tetsu Oni 4 is in such pain. She doesn't know what year it is, or because she wishes she could go back in time and avoid being hit with that move. Kyle moves over and covers Tetsu Oni 4, but Erica Costa Alvarez refuses to count, indicating the tag has been made. Miguel Lanza enters the ring and pulls Kyle to his feet, hitting the man with a series of 3 big right hands and whips Kyle into the ropes, and lifts him up as if to go for a 3D style move, but Abigail hits Kyle with a stunner move instead, the crowd letting out an O in response to the move. Jessica Carr, my God. What a brutal double team move in OH. Peak of Freak charges in and levels Abigail with a running clothesline and an O. A chokeslam. Peak of Freak lifted Abigail into the air and held her for a few seconds, choking her before slamming her to the mat. Victoria Hill, Erica Costa Alvarez needs to restore order here. Abigail rolls out of the ring into the floor joining Tetsu Oni 4, who is also trying to get her second wind. In the ring, Erica Costa Alvarez finally convinces Peak of Freak to go back to his corner. Daredevil Mad Morales, meanwhile, sneaks around and grabs Tetsu Oni and Abigail and slams their heads together, then whips Abigail into the barricade and whips Tetsu Oni 4 into Abigail, but Tetsu counters by leaping over Abigail and landing on the barricade, jumping off as Abigail recovers. Abigail catches Tetsu Oni 4 and hurls her towards Mad Morales, Tetsu Oni trying for a crossbody but Mad Morales dodges and Tetsu hits nothing but ring mat. Jessica Carr, the Daredevil, doing a good job at ringside as he was able to take advantage of the madness to ensure Abigail and Tetsu Oni don't get the time they need to recover. Abigail and Tetsu tried tandem high-risk offense, but to say it didn't work is Victoria Hill, an understatement. Credit to Abigail though. She caught and threw a 133-pound woman. Abigail obviously has some upper body strength of her own, though the forward momentum of Tetsu also likely helped there. Back in the ring, Miguel Lanza hammers Kyle with a number of big punches, before lifting Kyle up and hitting an inverted atomic drop before spinning around and hitting Kyle with a discus clothesline that sends Kyle to the mat. Miguel comes off the ropes and jumps up and hits Kyle with a big leg drop. Miguel then, setting up another big move, whips Kyle into the ropes, but Peak of Freak makes a blind tag. Miguel brings Kyle to the mat with a power slam and goes for the pin, only to be told by Erica Costa Alvarez that Kyle is not the legal man. Jessica Carr, blind tag made by Team Viper, and Miguel still doesn't know who is coming in. Victoria Hill, I think he's about to find out. Peak of Freak clubs Miguel in the back and then whips him into the ropes. Miguel comes off the ropes and runs into a big boot from Peak of Freak, who keeps the leg raised and jumps up, hitting a leg drop on Miguel. He moves over into a cover. 1, 2. Jessica Carr, I think Peak of Freak calls that freak facts. It got a near fall, but Miguel Lanza kicked out. Victoria Hill, this has been a back and forth match so far, Jess, and it's still anyone's match to win. Peak of Freak pulls Miguel to his feet, but Miguel hits a punch to the gut and follows it up with a jawbreaker. He whips Peak of Freak into the ropes, and as he comes off the ropes, Abigail and Miguel hit a double spinebuster. Tetsu Oni 4 comes off the top rope and hits her version of the Phoenix Splash. Abigail and Miguel charge forward. Miguel hits Kyle with his signature spear move and Abigail begins brawling with Mad Morales. Tetsu Oni moves into the pin and Erica looks around at the brawling but decides to count the pinfall. Jessica Carr, in the very moment Team Viper had the match under control, the upstarts managed to hit a couple of big moves and Tetsu Oni crowns the double spinebuster with her metal meteor strike. Victoria Hill, interesting side note, that is the same finishing move Valora uses. Though, while Valora can use her Aztec moonsault from a variety of positions, she usually uses it from the turnbuckle, whereas Tetsu Oni's finishing move came from the top rope. 1, 2, 3. Ding! Marcela Sancho, ladies and gentlemen, the winners, by pinfall, the upstarts. Jessica Carr, the upstarts win and move on in the tournament. Victoria Hill, Team Viper definitely made a strong CWF debut and I have a feeling we will see more of Team Viper versus the upstarts in the future. We're supposed to be going to ringside for our next match, but we're not. Instead, we're going backstage, where something of a commotion has broken out. The big screen lights up in the arena to let the fans in attendance in on what's happening, but in TV land, we can see it all playing out on a big screen, and it's not pretty. Long-tenured CWF wrestler Abel, a masked man much loved by the younger fans in the audience, is taking a heavy beating from the suited and booted trio of the Bastards, Rob Riot, Frank Windsor and Eddie Williams. Eddie has Abel pinned to the ground, a forearm pushed against his face, while Riot and Windsor lay in the boots. Riot dials back a big one, and soccer kicks Abel in the ribs before turning around to face the camera. Rob Riot, we told you. We told you that we weren't playing. We told you that when we walk into an area, people are going to get hurt. Did management listen to us? Has any protection been laid on for the victims in this locker room? No. Of course it hasn't. So here's this poor swine dealing with the consequences of that decision. I think it's Abel. Frank, can you confirm that for me? Eddie lets Abel go, and Frank grabs the stricken wrestler by the hair, dragging him up from the floor. Abel, still conscious, groans as he's pulled to his feet. Frank makes a show of studying his mask and then smashes him across the face with an evil right hook, sending him careering into Eddie, who punches him back the other way. In a sick way, it's like they're playing ping pong with him. Frank Windsor, yeah, it's definitely Abel. Although he ain't going to be able to do much after this, ho ho ho. Rob Riot, that's Frank, ladies and gentlemen. Ever the entertainer. But there's a point to what we're doing here. We haven't just picked out Abel because he happened to be walking down this corridor at the same time we were walking up it. Tell them, Eddie. Eddie grabs Abel by his battered head and then slams him face first into a nearby drinks vending machine. Abel hits it hard and then goes sprawling across the floor. He looks to be out cold. Eddie turns him over with his well-heeled shoe and points to the mask. Eddie Williams, that bullshit. The gimmick. Right there. Pretending to be something that he isn't. Rob Riot, that's right. We didn't just tell you that people were going to start getting hurt in this locker room. We told you that we're going to start dropping reality bombs, just like we did in the good old days. This, right here, is a reality bomb. Let's get him up. Riot and Williams pull Abel back up off the mat, with Eddie stepping behind him and holding his arms behind his back. There's blood coming out from beneath the mask. Slamming his head into the drinks machine must have busted him up. Windsor vanishes off camera for a moment and then reappears with something in his hand. It's a can of spray paint, and he hands it to Rob Riot. Riot gives it a shake while Frank addresses their prisoner. Frank Windsor, aren't you supposed to be a demon, kid? Aren't you supposed to be a bad man? Aren't you supposed to have come from the depths of hell? Where's your demon strength, you curtain-jerking scrub? Where are your powers? Windsor spits in his face. Frank Windsor, you're pathetic. There's an audible groan of disgust from the crowd in the arena when Frank spits on Abel, but an even louder one follows as Riot reaches forward, grabs Abel's mask, and rips it clean off, exposing the wrestler's face to the CWF audience for the first time. Riot grabs him by the chin and shows his battered face to the camera, with blood dripping down his hand. Rob Riot, there you go, folks. This isn't a demon. This isn't a monster. It's just a Scooby-Doo villain in a mask. A fake, like all the other fakes and posers on this roster. Well today, Mr. Abel, reality caught up with you. Keeping hold of Abel's chin with his left hand, Riot brings back his right hand and hammers Abel straight in the face with the butt of the spray paint can, shattering his nose. Eddie lets him go, and Abel crashes to the cold concrete floor. He's going to need medical attention. Not done, the bastards reach down and tear at his costume, exposing his back. Riot crouches over him and starts spraying a word in big, scruffy letters across his skin. The word is fake. When he's done, he tosses the can aside and stands back, allowing the camera to get a good look at his handiwork. The bastards pause for a few seconds, but Eddie eventually breaks the silence. Eddie Williams, we took out a jobber today, but next time, maybe it's not a jobber. Maybe it's someone else who tries to sell this supernatural bullshit to the marks. Maybe it's you, Demonic. Maybe it's the head vampire in charge. Maybe it's the clown in the mammoth mask. Maybe it's someone else. Someone else will beat down and bring back to reality. Frank Windsor, that's what we do. Because we're the bastards, and this has been a reality bomb. Rob Riot, and there will be no peace in CWF until there's justice. Now, hit our music. Take It Easy, Chicken by Manson starts playing in the arena, and the bastards walk away down the corridor, headed in the direction of their match. Jessica Carr, the bastards making a statement there by attacking one of our talent that was in the unaired warm-up tonight for the live crowd here. Victoria Hill, and here they come out to the ring. Take It Easy Chicken is already playing as the bastards come out from the back. They all head down to the ring with a purpose. Marcela Sancho, coming down to the ring now, coming in at a combined 685 pounds, they are the premier stable in not only the CWF, but professional wrestling as a whole. They are the Riot star Rob Riot, the Sultan of Skolong style Frank F. N. Windsor, and the man who recently became the AWS television champion. The future Eddie Williams. They are the bastards. All three of the bastards climb up into the ring and play up to the crowd. As is normal to the bastards, they're met with a chorus of both cheers and jeers. Jessica Carr, I have to say the bastards are focused and so far have the upper hand. They're fresh after winning the first round bye. Victoria Hill, while we'd normally be looking at something like that, but remember, the Carnival took out the World Elite and didn't have to wrestle a match either. So technically both teams here are fresh as daisies. Jessica Carr, well, Gabriel Tuck swung a lot of chair when he took out the World Elite earlier. He might need a breather here and there. Marcela Sancho, and now, coming to the ring at a combined 705 pounds, they are the Marquis de Harlequin, Katya Carnivalka, and Gabriel Tuck. Together, they are the Carnival. As the eerie melody of Carnival of the Damned begins, a mist of deep blue and crimson creeps across the stage. The arena lights flicker as if reacting to the haunting carnival tune, casting shadowy silhouettes. Marquis de Harlequin and Katya Carnivalka emerge from the fog, their figures entwined in a macabre dance as they embrace and share a long passionate kiss on stage. Again, Gabriel Tuck walks out from the back, forcing his way through the couple, breaking them apart. He heads toward the ring with the two lovebirds quickly following behind him. Jessica Carr, Gabriel Tuck sure doesn't like the way the other two are lovey-dovey in the ring. Victoria Hill, well, I do know one thing. Gabriel Tuck has been in the CWF for a long time and has never been able to achieve a title strap. The man is focused out here tonight. Jessica Carr, meantime, the Carnival without him, the Marquis de Harlequin and Katya Carnivalka earned a shot at the CWF tag team titles they'll be getting on episode 2 of Warzone from in Portland. Victoria Hill, that they have. That they have. Looks like the Marquis is going to be starting this one off for his team. Jessica Carr, and we'll have Frank Windsor for the bastards. The Marquis de Harlequin moves in, trying to grab Windsor for something, but Windsor is quick to rake the eyes. He then catches him into a European uppercut, and then pulls him into a short arm clothesline. Victoria Hill, and starting off early with a decapitator. Windsor grabs the Marquis arm and walks over to the ropes, tagging in Eddie Williams. Williams comes in, goes to the second turnbuckle while facing into the ring and comes off the turnbuckle with a double axe handle to the Marquis shoulder. Windsor climbs out of the ring, and Williams puts the Marquis de Harlequin into a double chicken wing and takes him over with a snapping tiger suplex. He doesn't try for a pin, instead he gets up and heads for the ropes. He doesn't go near the other corner, but comes off and nails the Marquis with a knee to the back of his head just as he sits up. Jessica Carr and the Bastards have the Marquis de Harlequin isolated. Williams tags out to Riot, who quickly comes in as the Marquis is trying to get up and head to his corner. Riot grabs him by the ankle and lifts him up, then slams him down hard. Riot then moves to his front, cutting him off and grabbing him into a front facelock, pulling him up. Riot locks it in, and then starts to hit him with a series of knee strikes, pushing him back to the Bastards' corner while he does so. Victoria Hill, and now for the master tactician of the Bastards. Riot quickly swaps the front facelock for a reversed facelock and drives the Marquis to the mat with a headlock driver. Riot then gets up and tags Windsor back in. Jessica Carr, another switch out by the Bastards, Windsor back in and fresh again. Windsor climbs in and rushes across the ring. As the camera follows him, we see that Gabriel Tuck has started to climb in to try to save the Marquis. Windsor catches him with a European uppercut that knocks Tuck off the apron. Windsor then grabs Katya and pulls her throat across the ring rope, dropping down to the mat with it. Victoria Hill and Frank Windsor keeping the Marquis isolated some more. Windsor quickly heads to cut the Marquis de Harlequin off before he can get too far. He's quick to get him into a front facelock and push him back towards his corner some more. Gabriel Tuck gets back up onto the apron and climbs in, but gets stopped by the referee. Jessica Carr, not sure that was smart by the Lone Wolf. Windsor is quick to let the front facelock go and then pull the Marquis into a package piledriver setup. Williams quickly comes into the ring and grabs the Marquis feet and spikes the piledriver, falling to his knees as he does. Windsor gets ready for a pinfall as the referee turns around. 1. This time Gabriel Tuck makes it to the middle of the ring to break up the pin. Again the referee chastises him and gets him back to his corner, as Windsor tags out to Eddie Williams again. Jessica Carr, Tuck and the Carnival can't get a break on this match tonight. Victoria Hill, they're against the Bastards, what do you think? Eddie Williams comes in and picks the Marquis up, before Windsor lets him go. The referee gives a slight warning to Windsor for cutting the time to change out their clothes. Williams hooks the Marquis up and then lifts him for what would look like a vertical suplex, but Riot comes into the ring and helps spike a brainbuster. Williams goes for a pinfall. 1. Tuck goes to climb into the ring, but Williams pulls the Marquis shoulder up himself. He then gives a hand signal of some sort to Tuck before pulling the Marquis up by his hair and moving to tag Riot back in. Jessica Carr, the Bastards are just tearing the Marquis de Harlequin down piece by piece. Victoria Hill, we've only seen one tag team match of the Bastards so far, but there's a reason why they hold or have held so many tag team titles. They are a team. But this is their chance to hold trios gold. Riot comes in, and while looking at Gabriel Tuck, nails the Marquis with an eat defeat. He doesn't go for the pinfall, instead getting right up and shaking his head. He reaches over and Frank Windsor tags back in. Windsor quickly moves in to grab the Marquis de Harlequin and start to work him over a bunch of forearms, followed up by another European uppercut, bouncing him off the ropes and then catching him with a spinning jawbreaker. Jessica Carr, this is, well, it's a Victoria Hill, a Bastards masterclass in trios teaming. Gabriel Tuck jumps down from the ring apron and starts to walk around. He looks like he's about to walk away, but not quite. Katya Karnavalka hops down to try to talk to him. Jessica Carr, it looks like Gabriel Tuck is not feeling part of the team here. Victoria Hill, is this going to cost them their shot? The Marquis de Harlequin having some trouble. Jessica Carr, he's been having trouble since the start. The Bastards have isolated him and protected that corner better than anyone so far. Frank Windsor points out something over at the side where Tuck and Katya appear to be having some words. The referee walks over and starts to check on them to see why they're not on the ring apron. Jessica Carr, why tell the referee about the troubles on the outside? Victoria Hill, easy, distraction tactics. As soon as it's apparently a good time to do so, Windsor gives the signal and the other two bastards climb into the ring. Windsor whips the Marquis de Harlequinto the ropes. As he comes off, Williams is there to assist Windsor in the lift as Riot comes off the ropes to the side and catches the Marquis with a cutter, finishing the hard Brexit. Victoria Hill, hard Brexit. Hard Brexit. Jessica Carr, don't sound so excited. Victoria Hill, why not? The referee hears the impact and turns around to see Eddie Williams and Rob Riot both rolling under the ring ropes. Frank Windsor rolls the Marquis over and lays down onto him, almost striking a pose, and motioning with his arms to invite the referee to count. The referee dives to count. 1, 2. Kataya rolls under the ropes and moves to try to break it up, but she's intercepted by Eddie Williams, who rolled back in to cut her off. 3. Jessica Carr and the bastards move on in a dominating fashion. Victoria Hill, one more team to figure out. Marcela Sancho, the winners of this match and advancing into the finals of the tournament, the bastards. The bastards all stand in the middle of the ring and hold their arms up together, as it cuts to the graphics for the bracket. Advertisement. Icon Wrestling Entertainment presents Champions Carnival. From the O2 Arena, London, UK. April 28, 2024. The camera comes back to the ringside area, as we get ready to start the last semi-final matchup. Jessica Carr, and now it's time for Bad Company, composed of the CWF Tag Team Champions, and the CWF Conquest Champion, as well as Greg Salazar against the Upstarts. Victoria Hill and the Upstarts are composed of the Dreadnought Miguel Lanza, Jr., the AWS Legacy Champion Abigail Dresden, and Tetsuo Oni 4. Jessica Carr, this match will have the third Tetsuo Oni, Greg Salazar, and the fourth, the current one, in the same ring on opposite sides. Victoria Hill, that is an interesting thing there. We know Blaze McClancy isn't a fan of the current Tetsuo Oni. What about Greg Salazar? Jessica Carr, I guess we're going to find out. Marcela Sancho, the following matchup is a semi-final match in the X0N Trios Titles Tournament. The winning team will go on to fight the Bastards on Warfare for the X0N Wrestling Trios Championship. Jessica Carr, I'm so looking forward to this now. Marcela Sancho, introducing first, once again coming out as a team. They are Tetsuo Oni 4, the AWS Legacy Champion Abigail Dresden, and the Dreadnought Miguel Lanza, Jr., they are the Upstarts. The lights in the arena dim and the Reckoning by Within Temptation plays over the PA. Tetsuo Oni 4 comes out first and takes a knee, spreading her arms out as Miguel and Abigail walk out behind her and take a pose, leaning against each other, back to back, looking at the ring. They then make their way to the ring, interacting with the fans a bit as they head down. All three climb up into the ring and take a different pose. Tetsuo Oni goes to her knees, Abby Dresden behind her holding up her legacy title belt, and Miguel Lanza behind her, giving a flex for the cameraman. Victoria Hill, looking good there. All three of these wrestlers are second generation. Jessica Carr, one of them calls it second generation squared. Victoria Hill, yes, Tetsuo Oni and Abby Dresden could both say that. Both parents being champions and experts in the ring in their own right. Jessica Carr, Abby Dresden is the daughter of Valora Salinas and maybe Rob Riot. We don't know who Tetsuo Oni's parents are. Victoria Hill, and Miguel Lanza Jr., is of course the son of Miguel Lanza, one half of the old PTC-era wrestler, who held tag team titles multiple times with his partner as Tropical Storm. Jessica Carr, great bloodlines of wrestling in that ring tight now. As the Upstarts get ready, and start to get loosened up, Marcela Sancho continues. Marcela Sancho, and their opponents, the CWF Tag Team Champion Kara Reinhardt, her tag team partner, the CWF Conquest Champion Cronin Reinhardt, and the Paragon Greg Salazar, they are Bad Company. Again it starts with Cronin Reinhardt coming out first, soon to be joined on either side with his fraternal twin sister, Kara, and his new good friend, Greg Salazar as five-finger death punches version of Bad Company starts to play over the PA system. Jessica Carr, speaking of bloodlines, sure people have heard and seen from the social media posts. Greg Salazar has just recently finally married his longtime girlfriend, and still technically manager, Colleen Fortune. Victoria Hill, oh, yeah. Callie is not able to accompany them to the ring, and hasn't been for a while now, because she is going to be a mother, and Greg Salazar is the dad. Jessica Carr, boy or girl, won't matter. That'll be a second-generation wrestler with some talent based on Abby Dresden's age, 17 or so years. As Bad Company make their way to the ring, they're suddenly stopped, all being hit from behind by the Bastards. Frank Windsor attacks Cronin Reinhardt, Eddie Williams jumps Kara, and Rob Riott grabs Greg Salazar and instantly sends him into the guardrail next to the rampway down to the ring. Jessica Carr, the Bastards. The Bastards are attacking Bad Company. Victoria Hill and all the upstarts have to do is stand in the ring and watch. They could win this by default now. Abigail Dresden can't believe it. As Frank Windsor whips Cronin Reinhardt to the side of the ring, she suddenly breaks from her group and dives between the top and second rope into Frank Windsor, taking him down to the floor. Jessica Carr, Abby Dresden just jumped Frank Windsor. Victoria Hill, she still has issues with him winning the match he had with her. Jessica Carr, of course she does, he damn near killed her. Victoria Hill, rumors and innuendo. With Abby getting involved, the other two upstarts decide what the hell. Tetsuo Oni runs towards the corner on that side, climbing it by alternating ropes, and then comes off with a corkscrew plancha that lands on both Kara Reinhardt and Eddie Williams, taking them both down. Jessica Carr, well, it's now going to turn into a cluster, isn't it? Miguel Lanza exits the ring and goes running around the other side. As he catches up to Rob Riott, who is trying to lock in a heel hook on Greg Salazar, he's caught by a torpedo spear from the larger man. Victoria Hill, yup. Kara Reinhardt recovers and takes Tetsuo Oni over with a belly-to-back suplex on the outside, which Eddie Williams then falls on both with a leg drop as they land, and all around the ring fights are starting to build up in intensity. Jessica Carr, and here comes Yukio and her team. CWF security come rushing out, Yukio Kushinaga McClancy in the lead. She's quick to start ordering people to stop and try to separate people. She personally grabs Tetsuo Oni and pulls her aside, and puts a finger in her face. Suddenly Blaze McClancy also runs down, pulling Abby Dresden out from where she's trying to get her fingernails into Frank Windsor's eyes, and stepping between him and Cronin. He's got a microphone which he pulls up once he lets Dresden go. Blaze McClancy, stop it right now. The next person to touch another wrestler right now will have their team disqualified from the tournament. Everyone seems to get the message and stop. Windsor glares at McClancy being the one right next to him. Blaze McClancy, swing, Windsor. I'm still CWF commissioner. I'll suspend your ass so quick and for so long you'll never get your cash in. And in the meantime, I will not hesitate to teach you a lesson even Riott couldn't teach you. If you think I'm joking, try me. Riott walks over and puts his hand on Windsor's shoulder, then chest, trying to pull his guy away. Blaze McClancy, anyone but me tries to get onto a mic, cut them off. Bastards, all three of you, over there. He points off to the direction up the ramp a bit. Blaze McClancy, Bad Company, of there. He points to an area near one corner of the ring to his right. Then he turns around. Blaze McClancy, and upstarts, over there. Now. As everyone moves to where they were told, Yukio calls out for her team to make sure they're ready. Blaze McClancy, like I said, no one move. No one speak. I'm not in the mood for this type of bullshit. He then points right up at the Bastards. Blaze McClancy, you know, sometimes it's hard to be a fan of a group like yours when you try so damn hard to make my job harder. Between the fact that Abel is getting treated in a local medical facility, now you do this? Why? 'Cause you don't like Bad Company? Because they took your title, Rob? He then turns to the upstarts. Blaze McClancy, I can understand getting into it after they started it. Otherwise you could have been DQ'd for them being attacked. But still. He shakes his head. Blaze McClancy, fine. Anyone who wrestles right now, you might have just influenced the final semi-final match here. So I'll tell you what. There's only one real way to fix this. I can see the bastards figured they'd get the upstarts DQ'd and hurt the ones they really want a match against so they could have an easy win on Monday. He hesitates for a moment. Blaze McClancy, so, tell you what. Monday, Warzone, the Trios Tournament Finals are now a triple threat Trios match. The Bastards versus the Upstarts versus Bad Company. Get rested, get ready. And if anyone touches anyone else from these teams, or their significant others, before then, you're out. So no more jumping people, no more attacks. I'm not having it in my division for the first champions. Got it. He points to the upstarts whom he was still looking at. All three of them nod. He turns to Bad Company. Even before he has to ask, they confirm. And give thumbs up. He turns to the bastards. Blaze McClancy, you three got it. Riot and Williams nod. Windsor appears to refuse. Blaze McClancy, Windsor? You may have an issue with authority. But you buck against me, your team is out. Now, is what I'm telling you clear? Or not? Riot and Williams both try to get Windsor calmer, and finally he nods and says something not picked up by the microphones. Blaze McClancy, good. Now all of you, get the hell out of here. Show's over. Suddenly the announcers come back. Jessica Carr, laying down the law. Victoria Hill, sounds like we're back. When Commissioner McClancy called for the mics to be cut, they cut ours as well. Jessica Carr, well, and they're now telling us we're going off the air. Turn in for Season 3, Episode 1 of Warzone for the now triple threat finale to the Trios tournament.